Kia ora, talofa lava, and thanks for joining us for another episode of the Counter Ruck, a podcast where we discuss all things rugby. I'm the host of the Counter Ruck, Stace, and today we welcome in a man who's here to front up and explain his team's fortunes. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll see his username on our chat is foot touch the grass. So he's probably got a lot to say about some of the calls or the ref calls. But I want to welcome in one of the stalwarts of Waitemata Rugby, Rog. Rog, thanks for coming on, brother.
Kia ora, bula vanaka.
Nice, brother. We're going to get into it soon. We'll get into the Chiefs and their fortunes, and it's great to have you on board to discuss the Chiefs' fortunes and what's going on with them. But I'll just take care of a few housekeeping things before we get into it. So our website is up and running, so check us out there, www.weswesnet.com, and also you can follow the Counter Ruck on Twitter and Facebook, so give us a follow and give us a like there. But yeah, Roger, we'll get straight into it, mate. So we'll look at some of these games, do some reviews. And on, I think it was Saturday night, the Crusaders played the Chiefs down in Christchurch, and the Crusaders took it out 39 to the Chiefs 17, mate. So I'll give you the first word, seeing you're a diehard Chiefs fan. How did you see that game, brother? And what are your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously it wasn't planned for it to pan out the way that it did, and but I was hoping for a sort of a better result and kicking on from what was a pretty poor start to the season and an additional loss on their sort of losing streak from 2020, the Crusaders, but obviously against the Blues, and coming off a bye week too, you think that they'll probably try and get things in order, but unfortunately they started off well, they were going toe-to-toe with the Blues. Or am I watching the wrong game? Crusaders, sorry, they were going toe-to-toe with the Crusaders. Yeah. But anyway, going with the Blues. So which game just happened on the weekend? It was the Blues, right? No.
Yep.
It's Crusaders.
The Crusaders played the Chiefs. Crusaders, Chiefs. All the losses are all blending into one, aren't they? Yes, the Crusaders beat the Chiefs there 39-17 on Saturday night.
Yes, that's correct. But obviously the Crusaders ran away with it in the end there and just showed why they are the best and why they're the current champions and why they've won multiple championships in this competition. It doesn't matter who they throw in there and who they inject, and even when Will Jordan came in, the injection of what he provided as well. Am I going about the right game? Will Jordan coming in?
Yep.
But that, obviously we can talk about some of the TMO calls and the referee calls until the cows come home. But obviously that foot did touch the grass for what was a spectacular try and what could probably be deemed as one of the tries of the of Super Rugby so far. However, controversial that it is, because since that try has been awarded, obviously today there's been other experts analyse that footage, and despite the TMO going with the on-field call that it was a try, obviously the foot touched the grass. But hey, we're not here to question that and whether it would have made a difference with the final result. But I mean, good stunning rugby. I'm happy just for the punters and spectators to just be able to witness some great running rugby that Super Aotearoa is providing us in, and what a way to start the season. And the Crusaders and the Blues alike have just ignited the competition alike with some of the results over the weekend, and some results. I think the scores were quite similar in how they blew it out. So great running rugby, but I guess the TMO decisions can be talked about right in between both games, and so I'm not sure how that's affected the Australian matches, but definitely New Zealand matches have been controversial with the Akira Ioane and Rika Ioane try being disallowed when Akira had broken down the sideline on the right side and throwing that pass to his brother away for all money. It was deemed a try at first glance, and it should have still remained a try. despite the law of physics, the referee didn't take that into consideration. So, and that can just be an honest mistake that they need to address and ensure, because it wouldn't have made a difference, I don't think, in the end result. But in tighter matches, especially in a match that's touted to be one of the top clashes here with the Crusaders and Blues next week, I mean, can they really afford to make those kind of errors in a tightly contested match? So, but with my Chiefs, going back to my Chiefs, because I don't want to talk about anyone else but my Chiefs, but Damien Mckenzie, what a stellar. I mean, if it shouldn't have been a try. Technically, it shouldn't be a try, but, it was a try that was awarded. But I think what I've witnessed is Damien Mckenzie's, we've seen it time and time again, how he puts his body on the line, last line of defence, and he still puts in such a great effort to try and cover the last person trying to run through that and scoring a try and finishing off in such spectacular style. But, he puts his body, and his face was totally pretty much a head. He would have got a bit of a concussion going into Whananuku. But it was, good running rugby all around. I think they just got to tighten up because, like I said, they were blow for blow in that first half. Quite short, a little bit short in that first half, but Crusaders ran away with it in the end. Yeah, I'm not too sure how they can fix that, how they can address it, because you would have thought that they would have had the bye week, and so 2 weeks since their last game to sort of try and get things rolling again. But Luke Jacobson had a good game for mine, I believe.
Yep.
Nepo Laulala had a great game. Oh, sorry, yeah, he's playing for the Blues now. But I was happy. I'm happy where they're at. I mean, despite the heavy loss, I think it's not all doom and gloom just yet. And I think they've got some of their home matches that they can sort of try and make amends with in the weeks to come.
Yep. Yeah, good thoughts there. I thought, the Chiefs, they're in a bit of a rut, and they needed a little bit of luck. So when they got that try, that Whanganuku try, and they didn't get the call, I thought the floodgates sort of opened a little bit from there. But that was amazing athleticism from Whanganuku. And you're right about Mckenzie, because he shouldn't have even gone close to stopping that. That should have been a relatively easy, straightforward try. But he's got like 30 kgs on him as well, Whanganuku, and he just went full tilt at him. So, yeah, I like watching Mckenzie, and that's one of the bright spots for the Chiefs, I'll say. I'm wondering if it might be time, and we talked about this a bit last week, to move Mckenzie to 10. They need to get him more ball, and it's just not working. As great as he is at fullback, he can influence the game a bit more, especially now that I think Chase Tiatia, he can play a bit of fullback as well. So, and they've got Sean Stevenson who can play fullback. So they've got some more fullback options. I wonder, have you got any thoughts on that? Maybe moving Mckenzie, or would you just?
I guess
it's pretty hard because he's not really the problem that's going wrong there playing fullback.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Mckenzie, he's got more space and more time to direct things and to see things and how they unfold from the back. But obviously, they've tried him. They know what he can do at first five. I guess they're just trying to settle in the inside combinations with who they've got there, and hoping that this combination that they currently got with Mckenzie at the back to come close to a guy like Lester Whainuku, albeit still getting the try. But I mean, we know that he can play there. Whether the Chiefs can still sort of try and experiment with Trask and Mckenzie and the other guys that they've got coming in. So it's trying to get those combinations right. And like I say, they had an okay first half to be within reach of the Crusaders, but then obviously once you give them a little bit of a sniff and they do what they do and they run away with it like that, and then it just makes it becomes so easy. So it was almost like they were a little bit discouraged in the end because nothing was bouncing their way. Weber getting, time in the bin as well didn't help us. But
right.
But again, another controversial call. They went upstairs and they went with one angle. So if my only qualm with that is that if they're going to use the technology, then they have to make sure. If otherwise, just rely on the referee's call, because technology in those two instances, and I'm not saying that's the reason why the Chiefs lost, But in those two instances, cost us a player, cost us a try, and then whatever else happened. And we can always still put it down to the skill factor of the Crusaders. But those instances in games like these, in the local derbies that we're getting, it can be costly to a point. And Webber came nowhere close to that ball that he allegedly knocked while making a tackle on Mo'unga. So.
Yeah, that's the thing about when you're in a rut, then also the calls seem to go against you as well. That just compounds itself. One thing I'll say for the Crusaders side, Mo'unga, he was amazing pulling the strings there. And we talked about Whainganuku, and both him and Severus have been good on the wing, so it'll be interesting. I think they have to be good because George Bridge will be back, I think, in the next sort of 2 or 3 weeks, and Braden Eno is probably maybe a month or two away after that. So someone's going to have to make way. They can't fit them all in, and I think that those outside backs, they realise that they have to be good every week because otherwise someone else can take their spot, and that's the thing about having that depth there. But
it's crazy. It's crazy what the Crusaders have got, because then they're always going to unearth a new talent at some point, and they'll be waiting in the wings for their opportunity. But to have all these current All Blacks that are not even making the squad or not even in the starting lineup, it's amazing that the depth that the Crusaders have. But again, it's the dynasty that they've created over the last decade or two.
Yep, nice thoughts there, Rog. And very humble of you to, as well, not making any excuses, just giving the Crusaders some credit, so that's good there, brother. I'm not sure if you caught the game on Sunday, brother. The Blues played the Highlanders at Eden Park on Sunday. So the Blues took that one out. Same score, like you mentioned, 39-17. So have you got any thoughts on that one?
No, I was on the viaduct. There was a bit of a non-event on the waters. There was no wind. So there were no races due to the lack of wind. So I was at one non-event when there was another non-event that was happening at Eden Park. So I just caught glimpses as I was walking past some of the establishments there and the bars with the screens on, and even some of the super yachts that were moored in the viaduct, and they had their screens playing, and I could see the Blues were running away with it, and so it was pretty good. But again, watched the extended highlights and seeing the Ioane brothers, just really express themselves the way. And obviously, it's great to see Akira just growing and just kicking off from where he left off last year. Becoming an All Black, and hopefully he can continue to do that. And the maturity that he's showing. And even when things don't go their way, and a call, the way that he was able to address that in the media and even on the field, he wasn't going to obviously react as he has in the past. So I think, again, just great to see that growth aspect with Akira and linking with his brother and just doing well for the Blues. And again, the Blues just, you can go right through from Perofeta through to Aotearoa Black, guys just all doing their jobs and knowing their roles and doing it really well. So right from the back through the forwards, making the way up the middle. But there's a lot of confidence in the Blues outfit.
What's that jersey you got there? What jersey you got on there? My screen's a bit blurry. Have you got a Blues jersey on at the moment? Or sorry.
Not everything blue is Blues, It's just a standard plain blue Adidas shirt.
Oh, nice. Yeah, no, good thoughts there, Rog. Especially on Akira. We talked about the Crusaders and the depth that they've got there really encourages good performance. But I think the Blues have got some real depth in the loose forwards as well. So, Akira, he lost the number 8 jersey to Hoskins last year, and I think with Tom Robertson there, he has to be good. And to his credit, he's really stepped up. And you're right, he's carrying on his form from last year, and it's finally. I don't know if he should have been moved to 6 earlier, but once he's made that transition, he's made every post a winner. So, 100% agree about Akira. And Aotearoa Black, you also touched on. I've been sort of pumping his tyres for a little bit now, but I think I think he's the next best 10 at the moment after Richie Wonga. So,
Ooh.
the old world-class 10 theory might be holding up, and Otidi Black could be moving into that category. And international 10, which could bode well for us winning a title.
Nah, you can't use that. You can't say that. If they win it and then you say, oh, no, you see, Aotearoa Black is world class. No, you can't say that now because you never used Aotearoa Black in that sentence, Stacey. Neither you nor Cam.
But I'm just saying, if he gets picked in the All Blacks this year, then what do you say? He'd be an international first five, and then my theories would still hold true about the Super Rugby winners needing an international first five to win. So
again, let's remind you, we had international first fives. You had the likes of Tasesa Lavia, Stephen Brett. They were all internationals, and they're right.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were. Oh, they were international first fives. They didn't win you a championship, but hey, they were international. So now you're saying, are you sort of like lowering the bar now? Are you saying, they didn't have to be, world-class superstars, first five. They can just be international?
If you're an All Black,
Yeah,
if you're an All Black first five, then you're a world-class first five, in my opinion. If you represent any of the Tri-Nations teams.
Stephen Brett was an international New Zealand All Black. A Māori
I don't think he was he? Oh yeah,
Māori All Black.
No. Not Māori All Blacks. All Blacks. All Blacks.
Are you questioning the internationality of New Zealand Māori All Blacks?
No, I'm not. But I wouldn't say that if you played for the Māori All Blacks. I wouldn't put you in the elite world class category. If you played for the All Blacks, I'll put you in that category. Or the Springboks or the Wallabies. So. I think Aotearoa Black's really coming on board. I've been really happy with them, and I want a special shout out to they had a young lock there, Sam Derry. He made his debut, so he's the guy that was from Canterbury, and he left. Not hardly anyone ever leaves Canterbury, and I think they've got locks galore there as well as backs. So he realised his path was blocked, and he's come up here to try and signed with the Blues, and he looks really good. I know some pundits, he was with the New Zealand under-20s, and some pundits thought he could be a future All Black captain, watching him play for the under-20s. So that's a good snare from the Blues, yeah. Just a name to keep an eye out for.
I quite like the way that Kirk Eklund injected himself, because we've seen in the past how he's been able to play at provincial level as well as for the Blues in the past sporadically. But I think with the retirement of one of Danny's favourite All Blacks, James Parsons, it's given him the opportunity to come in. I mean, you still got Apisao in the squad as well, but Kirk Eklund's got he's got a bit of a ticket there to sort of try and stake a claim and trying to become the number one rake for the Blues. So there was a young fella that was the North Harbour hooker that started the game. But I like the look of Kirk Eklund, and it's good that he's back in New Zealand shores to try and... I think he was unlucky not to try and get a spot. He was chosen in the North Island team last year, but unlucky not to be able to show his wares in that game. Has pretty much doubled as an All Black trial, but... who knows? He could be on the path to higher honours later on this year, all going well. But Carl Tuinukuafe, made that little slip in the corner there, that try that let through. But he can be forgiven. He was up against the back anyway, so it sliced through.
Yep. There seems to be a bit of a gap as well after these games. So there's the top two, the Blues and the Crusaders, and then there's sort of the other three teams. So it's going to be interesting these games this week. But we haven't got any more.
Have we already been categorised as the other? Are we just making up numbers now? Oh, far out. After 3 weeks,
you can't tell me there's not a divide in the competition, sort of a top two and the...
I'd just like to remind you, it's all about the... I want to emphasise the never give up attitude that I think is what you're missing out. And we saw that today, Luna Rossa versus the Team New Zealand. And so, they had gone out to there was a bit of a malfunction for the New Zealand team. Luna Rossa, for all money, 2.3 kilometres ahead. Everyone would have thought they're going to win this race, but the never give up attitude of New Zealand showed that they could come back. And obviously the wind had a lot to play with it, the lack thereof. So I wouldn't discard any of the bottom three as you've categorised: Highlanders, Hurricanes and the Chiefs, especially the Chiefs, because Chiefs mana, and with defence like Damien Mckenzie at the back, are going to come back and pull it back. And we're going to... What was the odds for our bet with the Chiefs to take out the competition? You're going to make money.
Nice. Yeah, okay. Well, hey, just for our listeners out there, we did put $10 on the Chiefs to win the competition, so that's still pending. It's going to take a bit of a miracle, but if it comes off, we'll be up there. Roger, mate, do you want to look at anything Australian? Did you catch anything in there? I didn't really watch a lot of it, but anything worth talking about from the weekend, from the Aussie?
No, unfortunately I didn't. I tried to get in as much. Last week I did though, but we've obviously moved on to... But it looks quite promising. I mean, they've got a good competition. I guess there's a few teams again who are quite off the pace over there, but we don't know how things... Once they get into the rhythm of things, once it hits the mid-rounds, then that's when business starts to get a bit more serious, and then you'll see the contenders from the rest of them. So Queensland's looking good. Interesting to see how the Western Force sort of progressed through, because obviously in the past have been the sort of cellar dwellers, but with the Melbourne Rebels. But I think that competition is still up for anyone to take it out. So yeah, I'll give it a couple more weeks and then we'll be able to sort of see a bit more.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with that. The competition, I agree with you. I watched a couple of the games, not as much, especially now that it just takes up a lot of time. But I will say that the Rebels beat the Force 10 points to 7, and I watched some of the highlights of that. Marika Koroibete on the wing, he was everywhere. He's outstanding. He's got a really high work rate, so he was one of the standout players there. And the Reds beat the Brumbies 40-38. So another close game, nail-biter game. I think Jordan Petaia got a try in the last minute to steal it for the Reds. But I will say Taniela Tupou, he was a beast in that game. They had like 4 tight-head wins, scrum wins. So he was just mowing through whoever was on the Brumbies side.
And that's good to see, really, because obviously Taniela Tupou was renowned for his general play, for his wide running, and for his rampaging runs. But it's good to see that he is sort of focusing more on the set pieces and dominating in one of his core roles as a prop, but obviously not taking away from his expansive game as well, as we've seen him do in the past. So, and he's growing as well. He's still a young man, but finding his way and I don't think he's peaked as a prop. I think he's just, getting started. He hasn't come into his prime yet, but once he does, and the more he develops in the Australian game, he'll be one to watch out for at the next couple of World Cups, I believe. But interesting you talk about Koroibete, because he's a hit and miss guy from a spectator point of view. He, when he's devastating, he's amazing, and he is busy. But then there'll be some games when he's just off his game. He'll get plenty of ball, but a lot of drop balls, a lot of missed tackles, and a lot of mistakes. But yeah, he's just one of those guys who can be amazing and finishes. He can finish off really well as well. But he's quite a compact, solid, strong type of a winger. He's not that big in stature, but he's like a David Smith type.
Yeah. I like he doesn't just stay on his wing, and if the ball comes his way, he'll be sorted, like you said. And that's what came through on this game. He was, pick and goes from the back of the ruck, turning up on the right wing, coming back to the left, runs through the middle. So he's really busy, and he likes to be involved in that. That really, you're right. And if he's on, that he can do a lot of good things for his teams. So yeah. Good thoughts there on the Aussie, mate. We'll do a quick preview, mate, of these upcoming games. So the Canes got the Chiefs on Saturday. So 2 teams sort of searching for that first win. How you seeing that one? I think this one's down in Wellington at the Cake Tin as well.
Well, I watched a couple of, I think, a first game of the Hurricanes, and they look the goods. They seem like they've got the makings of a great side. They've got a lot of names in there, a lot of current All Blacks as well as ones that were handed their first squad announcements or were included, like Karifi. You got your Adi Savea, and as frustrating as it was for Adi in the first week they played, they couldn't even buy a trick. They were just up against it, but at the same time, it didn't sort of mean that they weren't trying, because there's some hard workers in there. Obviously your Adi with his rampaging runs and a few close calls, but I think it could be anyone's game against the Chiefs, who are desperate for a win just as much as them. And is it at home in Cake Tin, the old Cake Tin, or is it?
Yeah, the Cake Tin.
Sky Stadium. So, so it should be interesting. As much as I'd want the Chiefs to take a win out of there, I mean, it's going to be hard to try and come up against a desperate Hurricanes team on home soil, who they'd love to defend their ground with a passion and give a good result for their fans. So could be a real close one.
Yep.
I think someone's dropped out. Was that me? Oh.
Yeah.
Did I drop out?
We talked a little bit. Now it should be sweet, but I remember looking at. We talked about Mckenzie maybe moving to 10. I wonder about Geordie Barrett as well. I wonder if he should be making the move to 10, because they're in similar positions where they're the best back they've got and they're the most influential. And sometimes you think you should move them, but I wonder. I don't even know if that's a good idea, considering how great they are at fullback. But to me, I was just more pointing out that they're in similar positions. And hey, I'll just get your thoughts for the Chiefs. I'm wondering about Gatland. You wonder if he's given old. Is it McMillan the new coach? He's just thrown him under the bus by giving him a pretty, a team so low in the thing. What do you think Gatland's got a bit to answer for the Chiefs? Why they're still down where they're down? He just left them in the lurch.
Are you talking about Gatland's? I think they would have.
Gatland Senior, Warren Gatland.
Pre-planned. They would have known this is what was going to be. What was going to take place in 2021. So I don't think it was an underarm bowl or thrown under the bus as sorts, but I think they knew it was coming and they had arranged and prepared for this to be. But obviously, yep, that's what it looks like on the outset, having an 8-0 or 9-0 sort of record coming into this season. But it's been a long time since they've had a win, since before COVID last year. And so I'm hoping that, both teams are going to be desperate. It's not questioning the efforts that they're doing at training during the week and trying to get things right. Sometimes it's just them creating their own luck and just hoping that everything falls into place. But when you're training that training is different when you're coming up against an opposition that's trying to disrupt all of that and implement what they've been trying to do as defensive as well as attacking. So it's all guesswork as well as just trying to be as prepared as best as possible. But one sort of thing that I'm not too sure about is Julian Savea on the wing for the Hurricanes. I mean,
yes.
I know there's a lot of experience with Julian there. I just don't think he looks as quick on the wing compared to a lot of the young wingers. I think ball in hand, and when he's got a lot of momentum, he's hard to stop. But when they're shutting him down early, he doesn't have the same sort of explosiveness as he once had. And that wasn't even that long ago, but it's just the defences are shutting him down and he's not having the room to try and make some sort of momentum. And I think I watched a couple of weeks ago when they did, he just didn't seem like wasn't reading the play. There was a try. I think it was Richie Mo'unga that broke away for a try or down the left hand side, and he could have. Had he kept on pushing, he would have been there. But then just a bit of complacency. But we all have those kinds of moments. Whereas he was a winger chasing back. But I'd really like to see them use him at centre, and whether he's got the skill set to be able to play there, we don't know because we haven't seen it. But it'd be interesting to see, because I'm pretty sure he was in the squad as a midfielder, or was I wrong?
Yeah. No, he was. He was listed as midfield.
Named in So who knows? Maybe we'll probably see that later in later rounds. But yeah, it's just been. It just seems a little bit laboured on the wing there for my.
Yeah, I think also that sort of exacerbated by the fact they've got a really good winger there, Salesi Rayasi, who's been at the ITM Cup level at least. He's been one of the best players going around for a couple of years. So, yeah, I think I'm with you on that. But I'm also a biased Auckland guy, and I want to see Rayasi play. So it'll be interesting to see what they do, because I'm wondering if they do need to make a few changes. They've lost their opening couple of games. This is a real hard game for me to pick. So I've just gone for the Canes in a close one just because it's played in Wellington. No other real reasons other than that. But that's going to be a good game, that Canes Chiefs on Saturday. But we'll move up to Sunday. Top of the table clash. Blues Crusaders at Eden Park, mates. God, I can't wait for this one. What are your thoughts on that one?
I'll be disappointed if there's anything less than 30,000 people at Eden Park, because this is the game that the Aucklanders missed out on. All the Blues fans missed out on last year. So obviously the crowd was a bit low, and I'll put that down to on the weekend just gone. I'll put that down to the America's Cup being in town as well. So hopefully come this weekend, the America's Cup is all done and dusted by then, and then who knows? Then we could have a full sort of complement at Eden Park, which would be nice, in terms of the stadium, and it's starting to build momentum with, the 660 concert just being announced as well. So a full Eden Park is happy days, isn't it? So I'm hoping they can start that off with this weekend against the Crusaders, because they were starved of a Super Aotearoa ending match, last season match in 2020. So hopefully all going well, no COVID restrictions or anything up until then. We know how that's worked out in the past with real last-minute cancellations. But I'm hoping the Blues can do it against the Crusaders, because Crusaders, I think, are going to be the favourites, regardless of form in these last couple of weeks, because the Blues have showed that they can be a team that can absolutely be devastating in open play, as well as just to run from one end to the other in style, especially with the Ioane brothers, but breaking out as they did on the weekend. So I think if they can kick on with their current form of the weekend just gone against the Highlanders, it's going to be interesting. Are they going to cancel each other out, because they were both high-scoring games that they showed on the weekend? And so someone's going to cancel, or they're just going to be going toe-to-toe, or is it going to be a low-scoring match? But I think it's going to be quite an interesting game, because you're going to see a lot of flair, a lot of hard hits with the forwards going at each other, and then the strategies that they've used against the Hurricanes and the Highlanders respectively, and see if that can because the Crusaders have got some great line-out options and the mauls that they've got going, so whether the Blues can withstand that and read it easy, read it early, because the Crusaders have nullified what in the Hurricanes in the first week. The Hurricanes were trying to hit that line from a line out 5-10 metres out, and couldn't just, the defence from the Crusaders was outstanding to shut down their maul, but then they were able to show the Hurricanes how to do it properly and score try after try from a rolling maul from a line out. And I think it's being inventive in those areas from set pieces, and seeing a Sevi Reese up against, who have they got? Mark Telea or Caleb Clark. Yeah, so I haven't even mentioned Caleb Clark, and you've got him in there as well, scoring tries off from Rico. And I see Rico perform at centre has been really encouraging. He's just expressing himself the way that we know that he does best, but he's showing week after week that he's to be taken seriously as a midfielder. We know he can play at wing if required, but he's sort of announcing to the world, to New Zealand rugby, that, take me seriously as a centre first now. I'm not just a winger.
Yep. I agree with all of that. It's going to be an awesome game. Basically, a final preview. I think the Blues have got the best loose forwards in the comp, so I think that's going to be the difference. Just the power running. That was how they beat the Highlanders. It was Tuipulotu and Akira and Hoskins just smashing through them and through the middle, and then after they got through them, then that's when the razzle dazzle and all the rest of it came through. So I don't think that the Blues will deviate too far away from that game plan. It's going to be a good game Sunday. Hopefully I'll be there. COVID restrictions pending, but I'm predicting the Blues to win that one. So that's going to be 2 home wins, 2 close games, but 2 home wins there. But Rog, mate, we'll look at our TAB account. So thanks to Cams, he predicted Crusaders 13 plus and Blues 13 plus multi, which came through. So, wait, we're up to $168.
So you should be thankful I wasn't on, because I would have questioned those bets. I said, no, you're going to lose money. Don't do it.
We're up to 168 now. So we started with $50. We're rolling in the cash now these days. $168. I haven't had to put any money in the TAB account. It's basically just living off the winnings these days. But Rog, I'll get you. Come on, mate. I'll get you to get our TAB tip for this week. Just anything to do with the rugby.
Okay. Can I do the Crusaders Blues game?
Yeah, you can do it. Pick any game you want. And we'll put our 10 on for the week.
Yep, Crusaders Blues game. Blues under 12.
Oh, nice.
To win.
Nice. Yeah, I like that bet actually. I would have gone for that as well. And I will be there
at Eden Park.
Wear that same jersey you got on now.
With my Chiefs jersey. With my Chiefs jersey. I'll be there. I'll be that guy.
That guy, I think if you lose this week, you'll take the new record of the most losses. I think that's correct. So, could be in for a few tomatoes getting thrown at you and some rotten fruit and stuff. But no, that'll be good. I like that bet actually. Right. Blues are right. 12 and under. Yeah, all right. Now some good tips there, Roger. Some good thoughts. We're just about to close up, man. That's us done and dusted. So we'll get just some final thoughts for you for rugby. And the week that was, and the week that is to come?
I think it's gearing up to be some good clashes, because we obviously got the Blues and Crusaders. And the other game is it Chiefs and Hurricanes? So there should be some good clashes. I think everyone's looking forward to it. I think the stadium will be, especially Eden Park, will be a bit more full once the America's Cup is wrapped up as well. But I think right across, even right through to community rugby, grassroots, the club scene is sort of kicking off with not only junior rugby but senior rugby. Everyone's going through their pre-season hit-outs at the moment. So the Waka Nathan officially starts this weekend in Auckland, Gallagher Shield. Nice. That's just a pre-season competition precursor prior to the Gallagher Shield starting in a few weeks. So I think the first week after Easter, 10th of April. And so Waitemata will be going up against the local Waitakere. So there'll be a local derby to kickstart the season, Waitemata or Waitemata and Waitakere. So a lot of history there. Yep.
Are you going to be in the vicinity for Waitemata, or what's your season looking like, Rog?
Yes, one more.
Yeah, one more. Might as well. You're a long time retired. There's that old saying, you're a long time retired, so might as well try and squeeze every last bit of lemon juice out of your lemons of playing.
There's not much juice. There's not much juice left. But still enjoying it. Still just trying to train and get amongst it. But yeah, it's the games seems to be getting faster and faster. But then again, It could just be me getting slower.
Nice thoughts there, Rog. Just for me, that Blues Crusaders game is going to be must watch. So I'm going to be at the game, Rog, so I might see you there. I'll look for the guy who's getting booed when he's walking around, which will be you. But thanks for bringing up that grassroots, because that's good to know. And we should, if you can't go out to support the Blues, or if you think it's a rip-off or whatever, just go and support your grassroots team and support the local footy, because that's always good to watch. You never know, sometimes you can see the next big thing as well. I remember I watched David Smith. I watched him playing for Ponsonby, and I was blown away by how awesome he was. And then I saw him popping up for Auckland like not long after that, and I thought, yep,
there it is.
I remember that guy.
There'll be the new superstars that'll be roaming around this weekend. So if you, like Stacey said, if you're not doing anything, for a nice plug for the Waka Nathan, named after one of Auckland's finest, the Waka Nathan Cup is going to be kicking off at Watamata, Rathgar Road in Swanson, and all the clubs in Auckland will be coming down to Watamata as they have been the last few years, and that's where all the games will be starting off from about 11 o'clock right through to the last game at 5 p.m.
Yep, nice. All right, good thoughts. I think that's us. So, just to our listeners, thanks for joining us for another episode of the Counter-Ruck. We're available on the usual podcast platforms, so Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to your podcast, and also on YouTube through our YouTube channel. So check us out there. Keep listening and keep watching and providing us that feedback. So, Rog, thanks for jumping on, brother, and being part of the pod and sharing your rugby knowledge and your enthusiasm. And we'll be back again next week. So cheers, everyone.
Go the Chiefs.
You always want to get that last word, don't you? Edit that out. Nah.
Nice, brother. Nice.